Bring the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock. They're powerful, alright. We cover them all on your favorite part. So many movies we can choose. Even when you win, you lose. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast. Be excellent to each other. Peace out and word to your mother. They're from the best decades. Movie magic that never fades. Lightsabers clash, phasers set to stun. Action packed from dusk till dawn. We have deep thoughts and questions free. Come share our love of the movies we see. Life moves pretty fast. Some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math. It's the 30-something movie podcast.
It is the 30-something movie podcast, and we are just a bunch of cleaners here tonight, ready to do some cleaning, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A bunch of professionals. We are.
Mm-hmm.
I use the term loosely, but you know,
Yeah.
it's John, it's Pat, it's Bo.
Yo.
Hey, hey.
We are the 30-something movie podcast, and we're excited to be here tonight. It's December. We're nearing the end of our journey through 1994, ready to step through the portal into 1995, and a bunch of really fun movies coming up in 1995. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We spoil freely here, just be aware. So if we say something, mention a movie you don't want to hear anything about, maybe hit that skip button on your podcast app a couple times. We should have gotten it out of our systems. If you have not already, visit our website, 30podcast.com. You can leave a rating, a voicemail. You can become a co-executive producer via our Patreon link on there. Tons of great bonus stuff over there. Couple things that are changing a bit is on our Patreon feed, we do a regular length episode, like a full kind of hour-long episode on an extra movie every month over there on Patreon. But we also do at least one Patreon short, and that's usually like a 10-minute, like a quick little 10-minute deal. And I tend to do those solo. Those we are actually, we're going to make those free. So anybody who joins us on Patreon, because you can join on Patreon without donating towards the podcast, without financially supporting. So I have found we have several people who have joined us over there on Patreon on the free tier. So
Yay, thank you.
yeah, so thank you for that, and spread the word, let your friends know, and your friends' friends, and then they tell two friends, and so on and so on.
So on.
So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to open up those Patreon shorts to be free for anyone who joins us over on Patreon, while keeping the other ones to the folks who help contribute financially towards the show. And we thank very, very much. We thank you for those who are supporting the show either financially or by letting other people know and all that good stuff. So thank you for that. The other thing that's been rummaging around in my head lately, because I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with social media, and I'm finding more and more that a lot of the social media platforms are just a cesspool of bots and angry people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of getting close to the point where I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on some of these platforms. And by default, I don't know how much longer I might have our podcast be on these platforms. So coming to our website may be even more important, because I might, and I'm throwing this out here as a possible idea. So if anybody wants to chime in at all from our listeners, you can let me know. I'm toying with the idea of maybe focusing a little bit more of the time on doing some kind of I don't know if it's weekly or a monthly newsletter that we can send out from the website, because on the website we can get email addresses and keep people in touch that way. I'm toying with the idea for my mental health, for other people's mental health and well-being. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like that might be a good way to go.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a techie person. I work in technology.
Yeah.
Sometimes, to quote King Arthur of the Britons, You make me sad, technology.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
yeah, just throwing that thought out there. So if you start to see, and folks might have noticed, I have not been posting as much on other social media outlets as I might have in the past. And part of that is just because it just is, I don't know. It's a time suck. And
Yes.
and it's kind of a brain suck too. So
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. So you may notice that we may kind of shift focus a bit and go the newsletter route as opposed to posting on social media as much or at all.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
It all makes sense to Pat.
trying to clean things up as cleaners we are trying to clean stuff up here.
Yes.
I want you to take out my wife, Mia Wallace. Take out your wife? No, not that. This movie is Léon, the professional, or there is an accent over the so Léon.
Leon.
Although isn't he supposed to be in the movie? Do they say he's Italian?
They do a couple times.
Yeah. Léon is not, unless I'm forgetting something. Léon is not an Italian name; it's a French name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny hat.
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
French.
So yeah, and he's a French actor. Like Jean Reno is a French actor. So
So what are we doing here is what you're saying.
what are we doing here? Like, how's he Italian?
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
Léon and he's French, and the name is French, I don't know. I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Yes.
So, all right. Before we get into the movie itself, which I feel like we'll have some things to talk about with this one, let's go ahead and do a little bit of trivia here, and then we'll jump on into the rest of this. Came out on November 18th of 1994, rated R. 1 hour, 50 minutes was the runtime. Luc Besson was the director for this one. He did The Fifth Element and Lucy. Was also the writer. He did La Femme Nikita and The Big Blue. Producer was Patrice Ludeau. She did The Fifth Element and The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc, Noah's wife. Great biopic. Composer was Eric Serra, who did Goldeneye and The Fifth Element. Cinematographer was Terry Arbogast, who did The Fifth Element and Lucy. Editor was Sylvie Landra, who did The Fifth Element and La Femme Nikita. Production company was Gaumont, Les Films du Dauphin. Budget was $16 million. Worldwide box office was $45.3 million. Flickmetrics gives it a 78%. Cinema Score had nothing. They said, you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Nothing, sir.
I said good day.
sir.
I said good day, sir. Jean Reno played Léon. He was in the Da Vinci Code. I'm just going to say everything in a French accent. He was in Le Da Vinci Code and Ronin. Natalie Portman. Nah, that's going to be really obnoxious.
Just a little.
It's just a bit. Just a bit. What if I did a French Bobcat Goldthwait?
What
I
happens
have-
if you just, yeah.
I have
Let's let
not
that go.
words for this.
I don't think I have words for it either. I'm trying to think of how to do it. I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, I'm not going to. There's not enough like Vicks throat coating for me to fix that after I try to do it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think my vocal cords will be shot if I tried it. She plays Matilda. She was in Black Swan and V for Vendetta. Really great episode of Sesame Street was V for Vendetta. Gary Oldman played Norman Stansfield. He was in The Dark Knight and The Darkest Hour. Danny Aiello, who died in 2019, played Tony. He was in Do the Right Thing and Moonstruck. Peter Appel played Malky. He was in The Thomas Crown Affair and The Producers. Michael Badalucco was Matilda's father. He was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And the TV series The Practice. Ellen Green played Matilda's mother. She was in Little Shop of Horrors and Pushing Daisies, the TV series. Elizabeth Regan was Matilda's sister. She was in the Blacklist series and How I Met Your Mother TV series. Carl J. Matusovic was Matilda's brother. He was in The Secret of My Success and The Pickle. Eric Chalier played the bodyguard chief. He was in The Fifth Element and The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc. Willie Oneblood was the first Stansfield man. He was in The Fifth Element and Kiss of Death. And Don Creech was the second Stansfield man. He was in The Departed and X-Men First Class.
Mm-hmm.
Or in French, La Classe Première. Jean Reno's portrayal of Léon was influenced by his earlier role as Victor in Luc Besson's La Femme Nikita. There is an extended cut Lord help us, known as the international version, which includes 25 more minutes of additional footage, further exploring Léon and Matilda's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me into one of the other trivia notes here, that this is Natalie Portman's film debut at age 12. This was her film debut as Matilda, a role that would launch her acting career from this point. There are other things we're going to talk about related to that, but yeah. Anyway, Luc Besson, and I was wondering this as I was watching this movie, because I'd never seen this movie before watching it for the podcast this time. And as I was watching this, I kept thinking, before I had seen the movie, before the movie even started, and before I had read some things after watching it, I kept thinking, gosh, I wonder if they ever thought of having Natalie Portman do a follow-up, like do a sequel. Like if her character survives this, I wonder if they've ever thought of having her come back and 30 years later do a sequel where, Matilda is still an assassin and she's the cleaner now and doing all this stuff. And so apparently there were plans for a sequel. He wrote a script for a sequel titled Matilda, and that was going to be focusing on an older Matilda becoming a hitwoman. And the project never took off, never got any traction. And I think part of that might have been, I don't know that I found anything that said this explicitly, but I believe Natalie Portman probably would not have wanted to do it, just based on some of her comments that she has made in interviews in recent years. But the other part of that apparently is he had this, it wasn't getting any traction as an actual sequel to Léon the Professional, but it did become the movie Colombiana. And I have not seen that one. Have you guys seen that?
Mm-mm.
That is a Zoe Saldana, I think, is the hit woman in that one. It was 2011. And the premise of the movie is a young woman grows up to be a stone-cold assassin after witnessing her parents' murder as a child in Bogota. And she works for her uncle, who is also a hitman. And so apparently they took that because he is, I believe Luc Besson is a producer of Colombiana. And so that was the script that was going to be Matilda, but never got made as Matilda. So it got made as this other movie with different character names and so on and so forth.
Got it.
If you want to see Colombiana, it doesn't necessarily get great Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and I know sometimes, Pat, you have subscriptions to Paramount Plus. It's on Paramount Plus right now. So if anybody is curious,
there it is.
It looks like it's on Paramount Plus. It also looks like it's on Tubi. If you don't have Paramount Plus and you want it for free, that's another spot to go check it out. So, all right. In a city of corruption, a lone hitman named Léon becomes the unlikely guardian of Matilda, a young girl seeking vengeance for her family's murder. As they form an unbreakable bond, they confront the ruthless DEA agent Norman Stansfield. In a world where survival means breaking all the rules, can they find justice before time runs out?
Let's talk business. This guy comes to town every Tuesday. Are you free Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm free Tuesday.
You can't stop what you can't see.
This guy came from the outside. He was a pro. He was fast.
In the art of the kill, Leon was the master.
Somebody's coming up. Somebody's serious.
He never missed a hit. He never got caught.
You're indestructible. Bullets slide off you. You played with him.
And above all else, he never had a reason to care. Until now.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
My family was shot down by DEA officers.
3 kids here. One of them is missing. Find her.
Please open the door. Please.
From the director of La Femme Nikita.
If you don't help me, I'll die tonight. I can feel it.
An innocent girl with no one else to turn to.
What exactly do you do for a living?
Cleaner.
You mean you're a hitman? Cool.
A perfect assassin.
I need you to help me, Leon. I want to get those dirtbags who killed my brother.
With someone to finally believe in.
Change ain't good. Remember that, Léon.
I will. They're about to come face to face with the cop who's crossed the line.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean, everyone?
All right. Major moments for this one. We've broken it down into 10 major moments, so you don't have to. We always recommend that you go watch the movie first and then come on back. But if you don't have time or if you don't want to, we're going to break it down for you, and then we'll get on into our thoughts on this one. Léon, a solitary hitman working for Old Tony in Little Italy, leads a pretty quiet, regimented life. Matilda is a neglected 12-year-old from a troubled family living down the hall from him. She skips school and faces pretty daily abuse at home. Their lives are very, very different from each other, but they are definitely destined to intersect at some point here. Matilda's father enrages a corrupt DEA agent, Norman Stansfield, by stealing cocaine from a stash hid in their apartment. In retaliation, Stansfield leads a raid, massacring Matilda's entire family. Returning home to find the aftermath, she narrowly avoids death by seeking refuge with Léon. Léon reluctantly takes Matilda in, and she quickly uncovers his identity as a hitman or a cleaner. Desperate for vengeance, she begs him to teach her his deadly skills. Despite initially hesitating, he begins to train her, and they form an unusual partnership that she is able to help him in ways that he would not have previously been able to get some of his work done. She is able to help him with that. As he teaches her how to handle weapons, she assists him with errands and household chores. As he begins to open up about his past, she starts to see him as a protector. However, she is also a bit infatuated with him, and that complicates things because she's 12 and he's old. So we'll talk more, but when we get to our deep thoughts, we'll talk more about this. I mean, it's like a May, December from 3 years from now kind of a relationship. Kind of a dynamic. So, yeah. Fueled by anger, Matilda attempts to kill Stansfield on her own by infiltrating the DEA office, but her plan fails and she is captured. Meanwhile, Léon, realizing her intentions, tracks her down, rescues her, killing 2 of Stansfield's men in the process. Stansfield, now furious, everybody's furious and fueled by anger in this movie, at Léon for killing his agents, confronts Tony and coerces him into revealing Léon's location. That danger escalates as Stansfield prepares to eliminate Léon and Matilda. Léon recounts some of his tragic past to Matilda, a love affair in Italy that ended in murder and led to his exile in New York. The story strengthens Matilda's understanding of his pain and kind of their shared sense of having lost people that are special to them.
So you're saying they shared their pain?
They shared their pain, and they became stronger from the sharing.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I will not. I need my pain.
Exactly.
What does God want with a hitman?
Oh, so many things.
Yeah. I hear he's really wanting to like delegate everything but the sorting them out later part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Traditionally, at least. Stansfield sends an ESU team to Leon's apartment. Leon rescues Matilda and secures her escape through an air shaft. In a heartfelt moment, he tells her he loves her and promises that they will reunite. Moments later, the team storms the apartment, forcing Léon into a desperate escape. Disguised as an injured officer, Léon evades the chaos, escapes into the building's stairwell. Stansfield, however, spots him and fatally shoots him. As Léon dies, he hands Stansfield a grenade pin with a chilling message. This is from Matilda. The grenade hidden in Léon's vest detonates, killing Stansfield and avenging Matilda's family. Mm-hmm. Matilda goes to Tony, hoping to carry on Leon's work, but Tony refuses and gives her Leon's money for her future. She returns to school, tells her headmistress the truth about her family's death, and is re-enrolled. She plants Leon's beloved houseplant in a field, symbolizing the roots of her new life and the enduring memory of her friend, Léon. Here's the trailer, and we'll be back. No, actually played the trailer. Why am I saying here's the trailer? Here's the deep thoughts. Words, just like in the last episode. Words.
It's been a tough one, man.
It's a tough one. You know what? Why don't we... I'm sick and tired of these talky podcasts. Why don't we go back to the good old days of the silent podcasts?
The silent podcast.
I think that's what we need to go back to.
I think so.
All right, let me strike up the organ or the piano, and we'll go back to the good old days of the vaudeville acts, if you will.
Beautiful. Sunsets.
And now,
newborn babies.
deep thoughts.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
I like it a lot.
Wow. It's very deep. Thank you.
Apparently, John can't push buttons either.
Yeah, it's been a rough night, man. It's but we're getting through it.
You know what? Since I did it, we're just going to play it now.
Beautiful. Sunsets are beautiful. Newborn babies are beautiful. This is spectacular.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh.
That's what. You know what? We did Junior last week. You know what Junior needed?
More
What
of
did
that.
Junior need?
Junior needed a sassy Colomini.
There you go.
Newborn babies are
Hey,
beautiful.
babe.
This is. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every movie needs a sassy Colomini.
Yes.
Just everywhere. I can't think of a movie where it's not, where it wouldn't be both necessary and spiritually, intellectually, ecumenically fulfilling.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes
words.
to everything.
To have a
Unless
sassy Colomini in your movie.
I mean, everyone needs a little sassy column in their life.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know what that means. I'm trying to process that though.
Means whatever you want it to mean, buddy.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous.
That's why it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like the where's my Red Dwarf fans at? It's like the polymorph.
Oh, shit.
It's whatever you need it to be. And then it kills you. Okay, so deep thoughts on this one. When was the first time you saw this, and do you like this movie? I've already shared. This was the first time I had seen it. I had never seen this one before.
It was the first time I had seen it too. It's one of those movies you've heard of,
Yes.
though. Like, you know of it, you know the. I guess I don't want to say the backstory of it because that's not quite right.
Right.
But you do know the broad strokes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I enjoyed it for what it was. It felt, we've talked before about the difference between what is a movie and a film, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This felt very film to me.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
It explored some interesting themes.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
I think that for me, one of the reasons I had not seen this before was because my first, let me think about this. My first exposure to Luc Besson was The Fifth Element.
Mm.
And I believe I have shared,
Multi-pass.
yes, I believe I have shared before, The Fifth Element is not a movie I care for.
Multi-pass?
Yeah. It's no, you can keep your multi-pass.
Mm.
Yeah. And so I think based on that, now I've seen a couple, I think at least a couple other movies of his. I have seen The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I had seen, what else have I seen? I've seen Lucy, the one with ScarJo.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen those. I have not seen others, and I think that I shied away from them because of my reaction to The Fifth Element. So that I knew of this movie. I knew that it was a, very well-known, very, acclaimed movie from the 90s. And at some point I was like, oh, I really should watch this. I need to watch this. It might actually even be his movie with the highest rating on the IMDb list of movies. I think he is like an 8.5 for this one.
All right.
Yeah, because La Femme Nikita is a 7.3. And I've never seen La Femme Nikita. There was a TV series, and I did watch a couple of episodes here and there of that one, but had never seen the original film. So I think that is where my exposure to Luc Besson begins and ends. So, yes, this is the first time I had seen this one. Did I like it? I'm going to say as a hitman movie, yes. I liked it as a hitman movie. Are there other parts that made me feel like I needed to go take a disinfectant shower? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that. So
Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm at. As a hitman movie, well, here, I'll say it this way. If I could selectively take out the moments where we are sexualizing a 12-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
I would
That was
think,
dicey.
yes, I would think that this is a wonderful hitman movie, and I would love it very much. So that's my caveat.
All right.
Pat, go.
Well,
I love the noises.
There were definitely some awkward bits in it.
Yes.
The one scene that when she says, let's play a game, and then she does, I don't know, not charades, but she dresses up in costume and pretends to be, I guess that's charades, right? Trying to guess what that character is.
Sure. Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
And I think it was Madonna where she was jumping around like with the, and I was like, oh my, what,
oh my.
But then they pan over to the other, and the look on his face, the shot, reverse shot, the look on his face is just horror. Like, oh my, what am I watching? Like, what? And I thought that was, I'm like, I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they continue to, grab other people to put up there and all. And
when she was Charlie Chaplin, I wanted him to like give the wrong guess of Hitler.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She's like, little mustache. She's like, Hitler. No.
Exactly.
No.
Right. So, yeah, and that's, I don't know. I think, yeah, she was just pretty young to be over, like you said, the overtly sexually.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a bit much. And I think if you wanted to go that route, you could actually get an older actress and make the character themselves, right? Older. Right. To where that was more in line of what, so that we wouldn't bump on it.
Based on other movies I've watched this month, you could have gotten Martin Short and had him play a 10-year-old girl.
Well, then that has a whole other slew of, caveats and strings attached and all that.
It's a very different movie at that point.
Yes. But, no, that's the only thing I'd say about that.
Yeah.
Was just, I struggled with that, but yeah, the other bit was fun bits of action and yeah.
Yeah. So action wise, let's take that stuff out for just a minute, but action wise, how does this hit you as an action movie? Like, where does this, in the pantheon of other action movies you enjoy, like Pat, for you, I'm thinking of like Heat or, stuff like that. Where does this fall, like in terms of the action? And you said this is the first time you'd seen this one?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So watching this one and solely, like, if we could remove the stuff that makes us feel a little queasy, as an action movie, where does it stand for you in terms of, because it's got high marks on all these different sites, where does it stand for you in terms of like other action movies that you have enjoyed for a long time?
I mean, I don't know that's asking, is it going to crack the top 10, for me? And I don't necessarily think it will.
Okay.
I'm not going to like necessarily pick this over Heat or going all the way back Commando or.
But it definitely has the elements you enjoy of.
Yes, it does. Kind of the savior stepping up to take in a girl that was orphaned when her family was brutally murdered, and I like seeing the reluctant, the reluctant partnership. I liked all those elements. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed those parts of it. I struggled with that other piece that we talked about before. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that, to quote Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Well, what about you? As an action movie, where does this do it for you?
Yeah, I mean, the hitman stuff was fun. Like the concept of this guy who's a professional hitman is interesting. I do think the more interesting and thought-provoking parts of this movie aren't the action, though. Not that action is ever really super thought-provoking, but it's, the pin, that's the pin trick.
Yeah.
That was fun, right? That was like a great action movie joke scene.
Yeah.
I'll show you the pin trick. That's the pin trick. Boom. That's good. Like, that's almost John McClane worthy.
Right.
So, again, it was an interesting movie with a lot of interesting things to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the concept of the kid going to him for protection and then almost immediately, getting trained as an assassin. Like, he's reluctant about it, but, that kind of, pushes it and
well, she almost outthinks him, really.
Right. And
because he's not, the sharpest crayon.
Well, and I read somewhere that Jean Reno played him that way. He played him a little slower so that he would seem more innocent and it wouldn't make the kind of love story between the two of them as creepy. So I did read that he kind of intentionally played the character that way so it wouldn't seem like really sleazy. But she's much smarter than him in a lot of ways, even though he's no Wolverine, but he's the best at what he does. And he's good, but she's smart. Like, you can see he's learning some stuff from her, as they're going through, and she's doing her thing. This is a little bit like if you wanted to get a realistic depiction of what it probably would look like for Batman to train a very young Dick Grayson to become Robin. Like, it would look like this, I think. Because we don't really get, when you have all the Batman movies and the Batman stories, we don't see much of that. Like, we see in the comic books, we see like 2 or 3 panels where, they're in the Batcave and he's teaching them how to do like acrobatic flips, which the kid already knew how to do. And then giving him the multicolored costume. We don't really ever see the ins and outs of what that was like for Batman to train a young boy to be his sidekick. And so I feel like this movie actually does a really nice job of sitting in those details. Like, whereas the Batman story skims over that pretty quickly, this is where this movie lives. And I think that's the best parts of the movie. I so wish they would take out the infatuation part of the story, or they wouldn't lean on it so hard. Like, that's part of the problem. If the young girl wants to be kind of infatuated with the protector, like that, I could see that as kind of a thing. But as it has moments where it starts to take a turn that leans more towards the sexual, never fulfilled, never acted upon, but unless apparently I did hear there are potentially some deleted scenes somewhere where that got closer. So no, that was my answer too. If we take away when it starts to lean too far into that direction, I think this is a great movie. Like I love that part of the story where he is teaching her, but she is also teaching him through some of the stuff she does. One of my favorite moments is when they're doing their thing and they've made the kill and they're ready to move on, and she stops and she starts burning all the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "What are you doing? We're done." And she's like, "No. These are going to kill even more people."
No women and children.
Right. No women. You said no women and children. Well, who do you think these are going to kill?
Yep.
And so, and it shows like there's some goodness in her that, he didn't even think about it, but he can do, he can still be a cleaner and do his job, but he can also do some good in what he's doing too. And he doesn't see that until she shows it to him. That's the stuff I like about this movie. That's my, I don't want to repeat it too much, but that's my one thing is if they would have focused on that and take out the moments where it gets weird. I would be totally fine, and this would be, I'm not saying it's in my top 10 of movies, but this would be on the list of movies that I'm like, if I want to go to assassin movie, this is definitely on my list of go-to assassin movies.
Right, there it is.
So that's my only thing, is if you take out the parts where it sexualizes a young Natalie Portman a bit too much, then I would be absolutely fine with this movie. I would have no qualms about watching it.
Right.
The other part too, and this is more of a little bit of a trivia piece, is while none of the investigations have ever uncovered anything or found him guilty of anything, the director himself has had many, many, many multiple allegations of sexual assault or, I mean, they've all been allegations. They have investigated a few of them, I believe, and nothing ever came. There's been accusations, but nothing has ever come of it. He's always been either exonerated or that just never got pursued or whatever. But there's so many allegations over the years that you kind of look at it and I don't want to say he's guilty because, obviously if it's gone through investigations in the court system and it hasn't found anything, I don't want to accuse somebody who may not be guilty. But at the same time, when you've got that many over a course of several years, you kind of look at it and go, ugh. Okay, that gives me pause on wanting to invest more time into potentially some of his movies, especially when he says this relationship between Matilda and Leon was based on a relationship that he was having. Not that he was having a relationship with a young girl, but he was basing some of the infatuation and some of the other pieces of it on a relationship that he was having at the time.
Yes.
So that coupled with everything else, I'm like, ugh. I wish you hadn't included that. And even Natalie Portman in recent years, I think as recently as 2019-ish, maybe 2021, she was asked about this movie, and she said, she kind of said, I'm paraphrasing here, she kind of said, I don't know what to think, because she's grateful for the start that she was able to get. Like, this was her first role, and she's grateful for that, and she's grateful for the experience of having worked on the movie, but it makes her uneasy to go back and think about this movie. Not that something happened on the set of this movie, but looking back at it, she does feel like, she did say she felt very aware of the fact that they were sexualizing her as a 12-year-old girl, and that because of that, she said that led her to swing back in the other direction and take on roles that were much more conservative than she might have otherwise taken as she got older. So she kind of felt like that affected her by causing her to overcompensate and say, well, there are certain roles that I'm not going to take because I don't want people to see me in that way. So therefore I need to be seen as a very conservative, very serious, very, buttoned up, straight-laced, I'm not what people thought I was when I was 12 and watching this movie. So that kind of affected some of the decisions she made earlier on in her career. So, with all that in mind, I kind of look at it and I go, I enjoy it as an action movie, but there's a lot of problematic stuff here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you guys have as strong a reaction to that or a different reaction?
I I think you said it pretty eloquently. I'm not going to try and add anything onto that.
Because the director, he responded to some of her criticisms within the last couple of years or so, and I think his response was, well, but it was a different time, and different things were acceptable in a different time. And I'm reading that, I'm thinking, even that in 1994, I don't think that's acceptable in 1994. I mean, I was alive in 1994. Granted, I was 13 years old, but I don't think so. Like, that's not the. I don't think that word means what you think it means. I'm not sure that that's the defense you want to go with.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I don't know. Great action. Love the action. Love the assassin parts. Gary Oldman. Is there a movie that he's not good in?
Not that I know of.
I can't think of anything. Give me a movie with a sassy Colomini and a eccentric Gary Oldman, and you make it whatever you want. You could make it a movie about people sitting around a campfire and roasting marshmallows if you want. This is secretly the Star Trek V podcast. Since we've referenced it several. I mean, we're not really great at keeping secrets, but
no.
This is about assassins, not secret agents. So I'm not sure. I don't think assassins have to keep secrets. I don't know. I don't know what the job description is for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up on my LinkedIn profile, so if that was an option, though.
Oh, there you go.
I might have a list like Steve Buscemi, but but I lack the lipstick. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't even sure what to say to that.
And now I've made you even more unsure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mission accomplished.
I'm pleased you're pleased, Sean.
I'm standing there on the surface of an aircraft carrier with a giant mission accomplished banner behind me.
There it is.
All right. Is there anything else that we want to say about Léon le Professionnel before we dive into 3 slightly less questionable questions?
Love seeing New York.
There you go.
New York is always fun. Grenades are always fun.
Park. Yeah.
Yeah, the pin trick was great.
And again, like I said, Gary Oldman, love Gary Oldman. He has some great lines in this movie. Death is whimsical today.
What do you mean, bring everybody? Bring everybody.
I felt bad for that one guard that just completely bought it when he got taken hostage, and then he filled the hallway with smoke. And then he fired some shots, but did not shoot the guy. And so then all the guys' buddies are like, he shot him, open fire. And they're the ones that kill him.
Yeah.
That is like the unfriendliest of friendly fire.
Yep. With friends like these.
Right. All right. As the French say, it is time for 3 questions.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right. We've pulled the pin. We have 3 questions. Question number 1. What classical music would you listen to in order to help you focus while working? I do enjoy some Beethoven, but I'm a Mozartman myself. So I'm probably going to go with just about anything Mozart.
Okay.
That's a tough one. I don't tend to do it. I'm more of an ambient noise guy if I need to focus. But I suppose maybe like some Rhapsody in Blue or something like that could do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough because you try to strike a balance between upbeat and not so upbeat. You're caught up in the tune.
Right.
Because you don't want to fall asleep either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken to I think the website is mynoise.net.
Okay.
I've it's a they have some pre-built like ambient noise things like, you know, Irish coast in winter kind of stuff, right?
Oh wow, okay.
But they have a whole sci-fi section. And like Starship Bridge is one of them. And it doesn't say Enterprise, but I'll tell you what, guys. The beeps and boops sound a little familiar.
Yeah.
UNCC 1701. No bloody A.
B,
no bloody
C,
or D.
And the cool thing about mynoise.net is you call up one of these and they give you a mixer at the top of the screen and you can like, I want more, like if it's one of the more nature ones, like I want more waves, less thunder, less, you know, you have a little control over it too. So you can kind of dial in your background noise, which sometimes is kind of nice.
Pat, they have a section under focus and productivity on this website that is called Irish Coast.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Mynoise.net.
Yeah. It's fun. I like it a lot. And unfortunately, it has so many little like switches. You almost spend more time dialing in your perfect environment than you end up having time to focus. But, you know,
that's awesome.
The nice thing is once you have one you like, you can go back to it. But
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll be using this. Because usually in my office, especially like during Halloween time and now during November, there's a TV on the wall in my office, and so I will usually put on one of those YouTube videos that lasts like 10 hours.
Sure, yeah.
And it's either like a fall scene with a little campfire, or it was like a dark Gothic cathedral during Halloween time with just some, not really any music, but just like the sound of rain or a thunderstorm or something like that, just kind of quietly in the background. And that's, I have been accused of having the most Zen-like office in the entire district office.
Wow.
So
there it is.
It doesn't help my blood pressure, but I'm working on it.
Well, you know, but unfortunately for you, I feel like that might be akin to being the tallest midget.
Yes. Yes.
For some reason, Zen-like and administrative offices no go together very much.
You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
What you think it means.
One of these things is not like the other. Okay. Well, I will now be using the mynoise.net all the time now. Especially once I find the bridge noises.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me see. I'll look it up real quick. I think I had a good one saved somewhere.
Okay.
And they could have changed it too since the last time I was here.
Yeah. Pat, did you say music?
So
I apologize because I know asking you this question is also very unfair.
Yeah. So I don't think I have an answer.
It's like asking if you have a favorite child.
Yeah, exactly. And
which
are you asking?
Honestly, based on the week, I do, but I'm not saying.
I'm not going to put that down for posterity. No. Are you asking my favorite piece of classical music? Well, then there's that.
Yeah.
But what do you listen to when you focus? And here's my problem. If I put music on and I need to focus on something else, the music is going to distract me because I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to think about it and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to think about it. So I don't know that I've got a piece of music that I listen to that helps me focus.
So you're not the Gary Oldman in this that uses the classical music to help keep him focused on the job at hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's going to be the interesting thing. If I can't focus, if I can't keep my brain from wandering off about to something else, right? Then if other thoughts keep popping into my head and I can't and I need to give my brain something else to calm it, then I'll put music on, which sounds like a direct contrast to what I just said, but it's different. It like the music doesn't calm me down, and it's like I can't even think about it. Like I've got to put it on and forget about it. And so you know what I'm saying? Because otherwise I'll cycle it and it'll swing, the pendulum will swing the other way, and I'll be like, oh man, listen to how he resolves that chord. Oh wow, look how this such and such movement matches with this movement. That was Beethoven's stylistic whatever period. And so and there is no one music that will do that. Because if you're going to ask me, I can't tell you what I listen to if I have music going in the background, because it has to be something that I can put on, and I just it almost becomes forgettable. So like I said, I'm sorry, man. This question was a hard one. This one, because I don't know. Because if I put music on, I'm going to focus on that music. If I'm doing other work and I just need something to keep my thoughts from going to, man, I don't have enough time to get this done. Man, how am I going to do oh man, I've got to get this yard work done, and I've got to get the deck fixed, and I got to, take the trash out. But I got to pick music to listen to that is, I don't want to say forgettable, but just something that I don't need to think about.
Yeah. You need the white noise or the brown noise or the.
Yes. And I'm always going to be thinking about most classical music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in other words, I need to play music that's just simple. Yeah. Just simple sound.
Yeah.
Just repetitive.
It's like something tonal.
Yes. Yeah. Or chasing music that doesn't have a big theme.
Sure.
Not the asteroid field from Empire Strikes Back. Just bump, bump, just something, yeah. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. That question triggered. I was triggered with that question.
I was thinking of you need the simple, almost that drum beat that they do, that they play on Krypton in the Superman 1 and Superman 2. Like when they're on Krypton and they in the scenes with Zod, and there's kind of this drum beat that just goes dum, 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 dum,
yes,
dum, and it's just like that over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah, just something simple. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Yep.
All right, question number 2. Oh yeah.
Before we move on,
what do you got?
If you're on mynoise.net, at the top of the page, in the little paragraph, there's a link to the vast library of interactive sound generators.
Yes, I went there.
Under transports,
I did
choose
not go there.
spaceship.
Spaceship.
And then once you are there,
I'm hearing things.
You now have sliders for different settings. But what you'll notice you also have on the left is presets. Aboard the Enterprise, engine control room, the bridge, asleep in quarters, or you can tweak the sounds to your heart's content. So that's the one I've spent more time in than I'd like to admit.
Is surprise when I hear Ricardo Montalban just screaming in my ear?
God!
Oh no, it's randomizing the slider positions. Okay, that makes sense too.
Some other fun ones that I see on here that are relatively new. The Dunes of Arrakis.
Let's say I want to click the surprise button and just have Ricardo Montalban's voice come up and be like, John, I first wanted you to know who it was who had changed your settings.
Well, these guys they're a little foundation. You can probably get whatever you want.
Ask can we get a little AI con in there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So yeah, it's an unfortunate rabbit hole unto itself, which isn't necessarily good for someone who's looking to focus. But like I have found, like sometimes, some people say when they go to a cafe, they study better. Well,
yeah.
They've got some cafe restaurants, and you dial up the chatter, and that works for people. They have a whole tonal section,
Okay.
Singing bowls and Tibetan choirs.
I'll have to share this with Nora, because when I asked this question at dinner time, she sometimes she's like, I don't know how to answer that. And immediately this one, she's like, oh, I have some classical stuff that I use when I'm doing my homework. And I think she'd probably like this, because she likes to pop on some earbuds and get her work done. And all right, I will use this for myself and also pass it along.
Yeah, there's some real fun stuff here.
Yeah.
I've spent many a few minutes dialing in some stuff.
Yeah.
And then people come into my office. What are you listening to? Man, just go about your business. Nothing to see here.
I'm sorry. You knocked on my door, but did I say come?
Right.
No, you're not allowed to come in. You have to wait.
Why is the computer beeping? Oh, shush. Just say your piece. Why are you here?
Why are you not at the meeting that started 5 minutes ago? You'll have to come back later. I'm not dressed properly.
Go away, you moon-faced assassin of joy.
Bo, you're at work. Why are you not dressed properly?
You don't want to know.
I don't deserve to wear this uniform. All right.
Moving right along.
I don't know where that's going. Shut up, Wesley. Question number 2.
The boy?
The boy? Shut up, Wesley. My son. Okay. I'm going to jump in here really, really fast. I do not regret, I regret some life choices, but I do not regret my life choice to go hang out with the Shirley folks down in Missouri earlier this year.
Understandable.
Do not regret that at all. I have been watching the streaming copies of the Second Contact shows from Greatest Gen.
The last one from Madison was pretty good.
That was one where I'm like, ooh, to have been there personally would be so amazing.
Oh yeah. They had some good stuff.
You could tell they were having a good time. Yeah. Good time. So one more left to go in December. All right. Question number 2, favorite fictional assassin.
What do you got, Bo? You're chuckling. What do you got?
Well, I think of him as an assassin, but I don't know that he actually qualifies as an assassin. So I'm thinking
Inspector Gadget.
Ooh,
he's not an assassin, but I mean, maybe he is. He doesn't actually kill anyone, but as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
That would take a dark turn.
Yeah, it would.
Go Gadget dental cyanide capsule.
Oh my gosh. Fictional assassin. Black Widow might hit the top of my list.
Yeah.
Mine is the Merc with the mouth. I gotta go Deadpool.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised Pat didn't jump on one. There's one I was.
Is Monica Bellucci one?
I don't know. Which one are you surprised I didn't jump on, Bo?
I was wondering if you'd jump on the John Wick bandwagon.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I mean, it kind of depends on what you consider an assassin. I mean, I saw one list that listed Jules from Pulp Fiction.
Bo, I am astounded Like I don't know why John Wick did not pop. I'm sitting here been racking my brain all day, and it's like the answer was staring me right in the face, hiding in plain sight. Yeah, the Baba Yaga, right? Like what? Man,
Yeah.
I have failed this podcast, and you have pulled me out. I have been sinking in quicksand, and
because some of these websites list Darth Maul as an assassin.
Yeah, like that's a tough. I mean, I get what they're trying to go for there, but meh.
Which, because I mean, he does attempt to assassinate.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Some of the more interesting ones I saw that I really liked, but for me it had to be Black Widow. But Arya Stark,
yeah,
was good. The Terminator.
Yep.
Bucky Barnes comes up a few times. The one I was intrigued with was James Bond. He showed up on a few lists.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one too.
Is assassin, I guess technically, I mean, licensed to kill by your country, that makes you a state-sponsored assassin, right?
Right.
Which same then goes for Jason Bourne, because he showed up on a few lists.
Right. Because there are times when either James Bond or a 00 agent is sent out to assassinate someone. So, I mean, official name, secret agent, but I think assassin is definitely a part of the job description.
Yeah. Another one that I did not think of, but as Pat was shocked by the John Wick mention, the one that I wish I'd thought of was the bride from Kill Bill.
Yes.
Because that's a good one that I didn't even get there.
Yeah.
And then the comedy version of favorite movie assassin, Gross Point Blank.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's John Cusack as an assassin. There's something about that that's funny, just even saying it.
I'm shocked that none of you have gone with the Klingon assassin from Star Trek 6.
Ah, yes. If the shoe fits.
That's right. First rule of assassination: kill the assassins.
Kill the assassins.
All right, question number 3, our final question for this evening. Who is the most dangerous child in a movie or TV show? And this is a little subjective. I mean, you can decide what you feel is dangerous.
The most dangerous child.
You must choose what you feel is right, of course.
Well, only because I recently mentioned the Dunes of Arrakis. How about the sister? What is her name? Now I gotta look that up.
I have not seen the Dune movies recently, so
yeah, and I'm
not able to help with that one.
I'm usually pretty good about this, but I was gonna say Lady Jessica, but she's not the kid. She's the mom. And they all start to have weird names at some point. She's pretty scary.
Mine, while you're looking for that, mine is in the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s. The segment that is It's a Good Life. And you have little 6-year-old Anthony Fremont, who has the like godlike powers where he can read minds and invites his teacher over for dinner, and he's basically holding his entire house and the town hostage with his powers.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah, that one's super creepy. I thought that one was creepy when I was a little kid, and it's still creepy now. I mean, you could throw in Damien from The Omen. You could throw in,
Oh yeah.
You could throw in that time that Kevin McAllister tried to kill Frodo.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the kid from Problem Child.
Oh yeah.
Alia,
Oh, okay.
the daughter of Duke Atreides and Lady Jessica. Yeah.
Gotcha.
She's a creepy little girl.
Creepy kids. Pat, what's the creepiest kid in the movie?
I think you guys mentioned them all. All the ones I'm thinking about, I don't know that I have much to add. Yeah.
There's that little kid in Pet Cemetery was creepy.
Yeah, I know we did the pod on it, but I have a hard time remembering all the ins and outs of that one.
Oh, you know who's creepy? And I don't know that you guys have seen this one. There's is it Swedish vampire movie called Let the Right One In?
Okay.
And the vampire is like a little girl. Like one of the main characters is a child, and this child befriends a little girl vampire.
Okay.
So that one was kind of creepy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Little kid vampires are dangerous.
Yes.
And then sometimes they get creepily infatuated with Brad Pitt.
That's okay. And we're walking.
We're back to we're back to the problematic parts of movies.
Yes.
So, all right, okay. Well, there's creepy kids everywhere. Every child is creepy and dangerous in their own way.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for Léon, le professionnel. We've got a bunch of other episodes this week related to the idea of children. Won't someone think of the children as we wrap up the year here? So far this month, we've had Junior, we've had Léon, le professionnel. Next week, we've got The Client, where little Haley Joel Osment is not quite seeing dead people yet, but he might be one of them if he's not careful. Then we're going to finish it off with The Next Karate Kid. If you're joining us over on Patreon, we've got The War from 1994, and we've got a Patreon short with the Martin Short Charles Grodin movie Clifford from 1994. So, bunch of good stuff, but here in a couple weeks, we will be marching towards 1995, and we've got some fun stuff coming up there. If you're with us over on Patreon, our first episode on Patreon of the year is going to be a pop culture rundown. We're going to kind of, as the year starts off, we're going to just do an episode where we talk about some of the pop culture stuff and what was big in 1995. So that'll kind of kick off the year for us. If I'm able to go see it in time, there is a new Wolfman movie coming out in January. So I'm going to go check that out because I've seen the preview a few times. It looks fun. And then next year we are doing once a month a 10th anniversary rewatch because it's the 10th anniversary of the podcast. We're going back and rewatching movies we've already covered once before, and that is Pat's choice in January is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because January is History Month. So we're doing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade from 1989 as our rewatch for that one. And then our regular movies, I cannot believe all of these fit into the month of January, but apparently they do. Apollo 13, Braveheart, Rob Roy, Nixon, and Les Miserables, the 10th anniversary concert.
Well, there you go.
So that is all in the month of January.
Jeez.
We may get to the end of January and realize we've peaked too early.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Hey, you know what? Well, I don't know where I was going with that. Maybe we peaked too early.
Who knows? Well, just wait until I tell you what's in for February.
See, I knew we weren't going to peak too early.
We're not. Basically, we're going to be exhausted by the end of next year because of how awesome every month is going to be. But
yeah,
it's the service we provide.
It's the sacrifice that we create.
It's literally why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't actually have day jobs or families. We sit at our microphones all the time and just do this thing.
Don't tempt me, John.
I was gonna say, this sounds lovely. Can we really do that?
I mean, could we?
Dreamweaver. I believe you can get me through the night.
I'm not kicking that idea out of the room. So just as soon as one of us finds a ridiculously wealthy uncle, then
we'll not kick that idea out of the bed for eating cookies.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. Not at all. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you as always for being here, and thank you to our listeners for being here. We appreciate each and every one of you. But yeah, thanks for being here with me, guys. It was another fun movie and has some problematic bits to it, but I think we talked our way through it.
Yeah, we worked it through.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. So everybody, be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies, and we will see you back here next time for The Client.
Bring the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock.